But I don't want us to get, we're so bathed in the richness of His Spirit. And Jonathan and the praise team and Tiffany and all those who participate and, lead us into those moments. And, but it's so easy to become numb to it. Because God's power is around us and working through us and in us. But, so many times we have to give Him permission. Because He's a gentleman. He's not going to bust you over the head and say, you got to do these things. He wants you to do these things. And, but I was telling you I was going to preach on lies, and I'll preach on it next week. Again, if you want to be offended, because it will offend somebody. I don't think I can preach it without offending somebody. But hopefully, if you're offended, it will open your heart to the truth. And that how these lies determine how things work out in your life. And a lot of times, those lies and what happens, the disasters that happen are not, there's a disconnect. Okay, you don't really know, those lies are subtle and you've lived with them all your life or whatever, and then you have a disaster over here and you go, what? Why God? Well, again, it's what you believe. But I changed my mind last night, so I wrote up another sermon real fast. And this is going to be good. It's along with what we're talking about all this week. It's called When Storms Come. How many have had a storm in their life recently? Huh? Just a few of you? Well, have you ever had something? I'm going to just sort of repeat a little thing I ran into. And one time I owned my own company, and I was flying up to Philadelphia on U.S. Air, I can remember. And I had a meeting with the president of a multi-billion-dollar corporation. And it was a huge, important meeting. And it was going to make a difference how my company prospered, how my employees would prosper and all this. I mean, it affected a lot of things. And I flew into Philadelphia, and while I was there, a storm came up, and they canceled the flights. Now, I thought I had given plenty time for me to get to Cleveland, where the meeting was going to be. And it didn't matter how upset I was. It didn't matter how I jumped and screamed and hollered and said, you don't know what you're doing to me. It didn't change the schedule of the airline. Because they didn't cancel it because they wanted to. They canceled it because the weather wouldn't allow the plane into the airport. It didn't matter if the meeting was good. Not making that meeting was going to cost me. It was going to cost my company, the